Thank you for your time. We'll be seeing you.
I have no doubt about that, unfortunately.
Hey, we should, grab a coffee or something, Olivia. You know, for old time's sake.
Pleasure to meet you, gentlemen. Goodbye.
Oh.
Please, take a seat. The show's gonna start soon.
Sonny.
Say, Chloe's still lying in my bed, and it's dead.
That was, unique.
Oh, that is cute. Nobody has ever given me such a unique compliment before.
Forgive me, my name is Santino Featherland.
I thought so. You look more or less like I imagined.
More or less.
Sometimes less is more, Mr. Featherland.
You were amazing, dear, as always.
Could you be my little furball and fetch me a cocktail?
But of course.
Ibn will be back soon. We'll have a few minutes to talk. Then he'll end the conversation and throw you both out.
With all due respect, ma'am, we're not that easy to get rid of. Doesn't matter who's trying, believe me.
Doesn't matter, he'll do it. That's why I'm telling you. I don't want a scene. My room's upstairs. Meet me there in 20 minutes. Come alone, Sonny. You'd be too conspicuous otherwise.
Hey.
I understand. You know, they call him Target Marty at the station.
I don't have time, Mr. Featherland.
Sure thing, Natasha. I'll come to your room. 3 knocks, a short pause, then another 3.
I'll be waiting. Go, before he comes back.
I knew she was trouble the first time I saw her. She wore danger like a perfume. It was simply part of her being, and it attracted me, like light attracts the moth people. I wanted to be the microphone as she whispers her melodies, or the pillow she rests her feet on while reading some cheap romance. I wanted to be her nightdress, barely touching, barely covering her marble skin. But I was a cop, and a lifetime wouldn't be enough to rid myself of what a woman like her hides under her makeup. Keep your distance, Sonny. Just keep your distance.
How do you like your bourbon, Mr. Featherland?
In a glass. But thanks, I had a couple before I came. I feel like this may be a long night.
I hope it doesn't bother you if I have one myself.
I get offended if women don't drink in my company.
Oh, you are a funny guy.
So I've been told. Anyway, lovely room.
Yes. Look, Mr. Featherland.
It's sunny. Saves us a lot of time.
Okay, Sonny.
So, why am I here?
You know, men tend to babble in my presence.
It must be exhausting.
It is. But you're not the type to beat around the bush.
Is it too banal if I tell you it's an occupational hazard?
Terribly.
So can I start the unpleasant questions?
I've asked you here so you can do what you do best.
Really? I thought you asked because you wanted me to investigate for you. But if you'd rather be drinking...
You do have a sense of humor. How reassuring.
Only if I'm a bit hungover. That's usually quite common.
Oh, please drop the act about being the alcoholic, heartbroken ex-cop, Sonny. It would undoubtedly suit you, but I've seen you scanning my room. From the second you set foot in here, you started working, and everything I say gets sorted in your brain. Am I right?
That's a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, it's something like that.
Well then, Sonny, come at me.
Oh, that's something I don't hear often. With pleasure. Natasha is a confident woman. I can exploit that. But I must be careful. Every part of her oozes danger. That was a remarkable performance.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Do you perform here frequently? You're also the owner, if I'm not mistaken.
Sadly, I don't have the time, but the stage still calls my name, and I perform just a few times a year, and always with a new song.
So that was all the excitement.
I have many admirers, if that's what you mean. Yes.
The place is very elegant, and so's your room.
Why, thank you.
I kind of feel like I'm in a museum.
Well, that depends on the kind of museum.
The kind with nice things.
Oh,
Suspiciously nice things. Just like you.
do you think I'm suspicious?
We'll see about that.
Try me.
Do you think one of your admirers might be behind the threats?
Those who admire me usually idolize me. No, I don't think it's one of them.
You know, the soul of an animal is extremely complicated. Sometimes all it takes is a bad look or some small rejection to turn admiration into hate.
That's a stillborn theory. No one hates me if they once loved me, Mr. Detective.
Ah, I see. Do you have any material evidence concerning the threats?
You may think I'm irresponsible, but I didn't keep any of it. I simply couldn't bear to look at them.
Didn't you think maybe the police would need it?
I didn't think I needed the police. Moreover, do you think the girlfriend of Ibn Wessler could ever turn to the cops?
I see. So, what about me? How do I come into the picture?
It sounds ridiculous, but you're my last hope.
That does sound ridiculous, but I accept my ego and old habits.
You can't do anything else, can you?
Something like that. A leopard can't change its spots. Deep behind the diamond skin lies the truth. It doesn't matter how hard Natasha's trying to hide it. She's scared. Now I must concentrate to finally find out what I want to know. What was in those threats, exactly?
The message itself is not a threat. It's just a word.
But a word again and again is threatening.
Exactly.
So,
You really don't have any idea which word could be used for a woman like me?
I guess I do. Yes, I think I know what it could be.
Whore. Cat got your tongue? Am I right? You heard it. I said what you were thinking. And yes, that was in the message. That was printed on the paper and painted on my wall in giant red letters.
Well, thank you for your honesty. Could the threats have anything to do with the dangerous relationship between you?
You mean I'm a cat and he's a rat?
Every interracial relationship has risk. But yes, this one's more conspicuous than most.
Clawville's a very open and free city, but I guess you see more radical transgressions than I do.
One of the most common causes in homicidal and predatory cases, ma'am. So, yes.
Well, I don't know about that. Nobody ever questioned our relationship openly. We are what we are. And you know, if you're interested in my personal feelings, danger fills our relationship with a flavor no other can replace.
It must be one interesting relationship, that's for sure. I'm not sure I can feel the same, but I can certainly understand it.
Maybe one day you'll experience it, Sonny. Have you ever been with a predator before?
Well,
Well,
that's unsteady ground, Natasha. Let's turn the questioning around if you don't mind.
as you wish, Sonny.
How many fools like me have you used up, Natasha?
In all my life? Well,
I just forget it. I don't want to know. Curiosity killed the cat. No pun intended.
I'm just joking. You're not a fool, Sonny. I know that was supposed to be a kind of insult, but it usually rolls right off me. I can't take cockadoodling, so you can put aside the strutting stuff while you're talking to me.
Fair point. Broadcast received, ma'am. Natasha is a mysterious woman, but I must gouge out at least one of her secrets. Enough games. It's time to know why I'm here. Let's stop beating about the bush. How do you know Molly?
I'm prepared for that question, but it's still not easy.
You knew very well that if you threw in the name of my wife, I'd come to you, no matter how vague and suspicious the case was. I just want to know if you're simply a manipulator, or you're really that desperate.
I really know her. I'm not lying.
Oh, really? How? Were you a nurse, too? Forgive me, but I don't think so.
Don't be rude and so cynical, Sonny.
I'm sorry, but that's me when feline claws are at my throat.
Molly is an old and good friend of mine. She has nothing to do with this, but I knew that if I didn't mention it to you, you wouldn't have come.
Yeah, Natasha, you're right there.
I knew you were a decent fowl, that you would help me. That's what you're famous for.
Don't go there. Flattery doesn't work.
Look, Forgive me. I shouldn't have brought your wife into this.
You're right, you shouldn't have. But to be honest, I don't think she's my wife anymore. On paper she is, but I haven't seen her in years.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Really?
I did. I knew. I checked you out before I sent Deborah.
Luck me. This case is getting more and more intriguing. What exactly do you want from me?
You are really as good as they say you are. And I'm not selling lucky dips, Sonny. Find them, whoever they are, and...
Whatever it takes?
Not exactly, but something like that.
You know, if I didn't see the speck of fear behind the confidence shining in your eyes, I wouldn't take the case.
I'm not afraid.
You're terrified, Natasha. Don't be ashamed.
You must solve this. As soon as you can. Money's not an issue. Just one more thing, Sonny.
Natasha?
Please, come to 37 Rochester Street in Flower Town tonight. I'd like to show you something that could be of a great help in your investigation.
I was afraid this was coming. Why there? Why not here and now?
It's something I keep hidden there. I won't take the risk of Ibn or one of his men seeing it.
Isn't Ibn too dangerous to keep secrets from?
Sonny, a woman is naked without her secrets. I knew you would understand.
Oh yeah, I understand everything. So, when do we meet? The night is almost over.
I'll be there in an hour. Don't be early, and don't be too late.
Look, Natasha, you know...
Please, this is very important to me.
Sure, I get it. I'll be there.
Thank you.
Until later, Natasha.
Goodbye, Sonny.
Calling booze darling, it's kind of weird, don't you think?
Says someone who calls his gun collection his harem.
Touché. I'll shut it.
Good birdie.
Well,
Weren't you supposed to be waiting in the car?
I was bored to tears, Sonny. I also thought maybe something happened to you.
You thought Natasha had eaten me alive, huh?
Well, who knows? You're such a fragile little thing.
I'm too old for this, Marty.
Then next time, leave the dangerous predators to me.
I didn't mean that, Marty. I meant you.
Oh.
So, have you talked to Natasha?
In fact, yes. She was, kind of mysterious.
I bet she was. You know, I've never abandoned a case before. Not voluntarily, anyway. But that woman...
You're, too old for this shit, huh?
As you say, pal.
That's exactly how I felt, too.
Before you leave, take this and examine it closely.
What is it?
The reason I've decided all of this is not worth it for me.
Wow, that sounds encouraging.
Take care of yourselves, guys. This case, maybe it goes deeper than you'd think.
Oh, that makes my feathers stand on end.
Ah, old croakers. You're safe while I'm here. Okay, I didn't say anything.
We stepped into it, didn't we? Of all that's furry, what kind of a list is this?
Exactly. I have no idea, but I don't even want to find out.
Those names, all top dogs. Maybe they play cards together.
Sure, that's very likely. Anyway, I pried this list out of a dead man's hand. Somebody dropped him outside the forest, a few miles from the Wessler residence.
I should have known she was keeping secrets.
Keeping secrets? She's the secret herself.
Thanks, Filmar. This could be important.
Don't thank me. Maybe I've just signed your death warrant.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Oh, shut up, Marty. Well, if there's one thing I'd learned during 20 years of detective work, it's that if someone wants to meet you at a remote location at night, you should bring an army for backup. One time, me and Marty were stupid enough to underestimate a situation like that, and we never really recovered. And yet, here we were again, about to step alone into something hauntingly familiar. Only one tactic remained, as the old dogs say. Balls to the wall.
This place gives me the creeps.
I wouldn't say I like it either.
Let's take a look around before we go inside.
Textbook.
I'm telling you, it's a trap.
Shut up, Marty.
It's the nothing.
What was that?
Forget it. Just an old quote from a movie. It means it's fucking dark in here.
Flashlight.
I didn't bring one.
Me neither. What a pair of fucking professionals.
Yep.
But you do have a shotgun with you.
We should have shotguns for this kind of deal.
Is that from an old movie?
No, it's an original.
Figures. She was lying on the floor as if she was sleeping. She looked peaceful, almost. The large pool of blood ruined the picture. Poor, delicate Deborah. Maybe you were too pure and innocent for this city, but in the end, its filth pulled you under. You know, no animal can swim in high heels.
Wild gods! Fuck, even!
Yeah, it's her. Deborah. The girl who came to my office.
I figured, but what the hell happened? Was it Natasha? Is this what you wanted us to see?
No. I mean, I don't think so, Marty. She seemed very attached to the girl, and I believed her. Furthermore, she has no motive to kill her. Natasha meant some object. Something maybe the killer wanted, too. And the poor girl was trying to protect it.
Did she seem that kind of girl?
She risked a lot simply by coming to see me. She would have done it for her mistress.
Why is she naked? Was it sexual? I mean, there's no sign of struggle. She seems untouched. Maybe she knew her assailant. Was it a lover?
This looks premeditated. So far, the messages have appeared in weird places, but this is a new level. It's no longer just about empty threats.
Well, maybe Natasha's on her way here right now. Or she was already here and something happened to her, too. Kidnapped, or worse.
Those are possibilities, but we can't wait. We don't have time for guessing. Search the house. Search everything. The room's not trashed. Whoever did this wasn't looking for the same thing we are.
Or they knew exactly where to find it. Wait, what are we looking for exactly?
I have no idea, but it's something important. Things like that have a way of getting noticed when you come across them.
Amen to that. The message. Here, too.
Yes, but this isn't about Deborah, and wasn't meant for her.
It was meant for Natasha.
Obviously.
What have we gotten ourselves into, Sonny?
I don't know, Marty, but let's get ourselves out of it as soon as possible. SN. Could be the initials of a person, a place, a company, or a club. Too many possibilities. but we must find out where it's from.
Hello there. What could this be? Maybe a piece of a painting.
And there's some kind of squiggle on it. The signature of the painter? I can't make it out. It's a piece of a painting. Judging by how well it was hidden, I'm sure this is what Natasha wanted to show us.
So a piece of a painting? That's it? And what's that smear on it?
It's too illegible to be a signature. It could be anything.
Well, maybe Natasha can help us. After all, this is what she wanted to show us, isn't it?
Well, that's if we find her. She should be here by now.
True. Well, then what's next? How about we peck around town some more?
We could do that, but I think we should gather what we know and try to figure out where we can go from here. Bourbon in my office?
You know what? After all this, I could use a drink.
Right answer. We had no choice but to continue the investigation where it started. In that shady little apartment I called home. The only lead was the list Fillmore gave us, with all those imposing names on it. But what could it mean? And why did Natasha keep it secret from us? But most importantly, what did all this have to do with Deborah's death? The trail started to get cold, and so did the air outside. There was something unsettling in the black clouds, hiding all the stars. I prayed that they didn't bring an early snowfall. The night was already painful enough.
So, what are we doing here?
Trying to calm down. I'll have a shot.
Sure you will.
And we're trying to put the pieces together, of course. Figure out what's next.
And what is next, Boss Bird?
Let's take a look at what we've learned so far. So, the card is, maybe a dead end. The piece of painting, too.
But the list Fillmore gave us...
Exactly. Full of those imposing names. And I only know one person who moves in similar circles.
Lamar!
Yes, Marty. It's Lewis. Exactly.
Of course, it's Lewis. But where do we find the Bunny Man?
Well, since he owns this building, I'm hoping he's here. It's worth a call.
You know his number?
By heart. 555-932. I wrote it down in my notebook as well.
Oh, you are a professional, Boss Bird.
Hey, Lewis, sorry to disturb you again. Could you come over to my place? I have a question for you. It's very important. It's about a case.
A real case? With the chicken police? Of course, Sonny. I'll be over in a few minutes.
Thanks, pal. I owe you one.
One? Just a second.
Thanks, Lewis. Again.
Oh, don't mention it. Besides, it was my big dream to help you with a serious case.
Well, let's hope you can help. What can you tell me about this list, old pal?
Well,
these names... I know half of them personally. Maybe even more.
I knew it.
But I have no idea what kind of list this is.
here we go.
But these are all members of the upper class. Politicians, business people. Oh my. Even the commander of the Royal Guard.
Damn.
But I really don't know what it means.
So, is it a dead end?
I'm afraid so.
Deborah, the girl who came to me tonight.
Yes, she's a very lovely young lady.
Where did you take her after you two left?
Where she asked me to Flowerville.
Flowerville? Rochester Street 37?
Yes, exactly. Why?
Luck.
Did something happen?
Nothing good, Lewis. Nothing good.
This?
This?
Oh, my goodness.
I think we have a bingo, gentlemen.
You see, I also have one of these.
A card? Like this? Really?
Yes. It's a membership card to a very exclusive club.
How exclusive?
Very.
That's what I'm talking about.
What does SN mean, Lewis?
It's the sweltering Nile.
But that's a...
Well, yes, it's a brothel, but it's not like that. It's something completely different.
Calm down, Lewis. We're not going to tell anybody.
Thank you so much. It is rather embarrassing.
Listen, Lewis, how do we get in?
You want to get in? Well, if you show them this card, they'll surely let you in, but it will be obvious you're not regulars there.
We're used to that.
So, are we going to a luxury brothel?
Correct, Marty. Thanks for the help, Lewis. I owe you one. For the third time today, I think.
I don't know what you said to him, but after you finished, he almost immediately van disappeared.
Really? That's suspicious.
Or he had business elsewhere. It's New Year's Eve. Everybody's going somewhere.
I didn't see her after the show. If I'm not mistaken, she usually leaves when everyone else has already left.
What else do you know about her, Lewis?
Oh, not much. What everybody knows. She was a dancer, then a backing singer, then star, and then club owner.
We found out as much already. Do you think she'd fled the Stavonian massacre? That's why the secrecy?
Do you mean the massacre of the royal family? I'd say her accent is a dead giveaway, and her name too, though it's undoubtedly an alias.
So it's possible that she is a part of the royal family?
I don't think so. Nobody could have survived that awful night.
You're probably right. What should we know about the place, Lewis? Besides what they're dealing in there?
No, it's an elegant and exclusive place. Not everybody visits them for that, you know. Some animals just go for company.
I see. I guess it's mostly visited by the upper class.
Mostly, yes. The wealthy who have a taste.
Yes, of course.
Is it true what they say, that it's some kind of hidden stronghold of the royalists?
The Nile is a proud herald of the coexistence of all the species, yes, but stronghold? I don't think so.
But the place must be an eyesore for the separatists, right?
Oh, don't worry for the girls, Sonny. They can defend themselves quite well. The separatists wouldn't dare to go near the place.
Well, we'll see what they have to say about these two old cocks.
That was a little bit, equivocal.
To Marty's delight, we were heading toward the most exclusive brothel in Clawville. The separatists and those opposing the monarchy hated the place, just like they hated everything that supported interracial relations and peaceful coexistence of all species. So the place wasn't just a brothel, it was a symbol. But just like a brothel is not a worthy symbol, Clawville failed to turn out the way it was intended.
Well, here we are. The kingdom of long legs, silky skin, and fluttering lashes. We've arrived.
Calm down, Marty. Watch your blood pressure.
Excuse me, gentlemen. Would you be so kind as to help me?
With pleasure, ma'am.
The zipper always comes down on my dress. Would you kindly zip it back up?
Can I, Sonny?
What am I, your mother? Do what you want, for God's sake.
Happy to help, ma'am.
Oh, what a gallant young man.
Clucking lords.
Oh, I'm sorry.
If you'd really like to, please be more careful this time.
I will be, ma'am.
Oh, thank you, honey.
Marty, ma'am. Marty McChicken.
Thank you, darling Marty. I'm much obliged.
Anytime, ma'am. Anytime.
My name is Day-Night Diamond. Welcome to the sweltering Nile, gentlemen.
Miss Diamond, I'm Sonny, and this is my partner, Marty.
If I may, miss, you have a beautiful name and exceptionally wonderful stripes.
Marty, not now.
Oh, thank you very much.
Please excuse him. He doesn't visit places like this very often. Me neither, to be honest.
Oh, nothing to worry about, gentlemen. There's a first time for everyone.
You're absolutely right.
We're just interested in a certain lady called Deborah.
Deborah. We don't have any employees by that name right now, but if you want, any of our girls would love to be Deborah for a night.
No. Excuse me, you misunderstand. She doesn't work here.
I'm afraid I don't follow.
It's kind of confusing, but let me try to explain.
Please, I'm at your service. I'll gladly answer any of your questions.
You hear that, Sonny? Any questions?
Shut up, Marty. Do you know a gentleman named Louis C. Hayworth?
Of course I do. Mr. Hayworth is a regular guest at our establishment.
I see. How regular, if I may ask?
I can't give you any information about that. House policy.
We have that too. It's called the law, ma'am.
If you have any questions of that nature, please come back with a warrant.
Touche.
Does this list mean anything to you?
This? I'm not sure. No, nothing.
Don't you see some familiar names on there?
I do, but everybody knows those animals. Personally, I have no contact with any of them.
I see. Oh, thank you. Have you been working here long, miss?
Almost 5 years, sir.
And do you like your job?
Very much so. I think it's only worth doing anything if you honestly enjoy it.
You hear that, Sonny? You should take that advice.
I'm on it, Marty. I'm trying to get myself fired if you haven't noticed.
Yeah, and me too.
Collateral damage.
I wouldn't want to offend you, far from it, but it's evident you're from the police, even without this.
Is it that obvious?
No, it isn't, but, you know, here in the Nile, we have a keen eye for this kind of thing.
Right. I understand, ma'am. Look, she gave this to us. The girl named Deborah, the one we asked you about.
I see.
Do you know what this is?
Of course. It's a membership card.
Was this person a regular here?
If this belonged to her, then yes. I can check for you. Please, the ladies will entertain you while you wait. I'll be right back.
Thank you. Much obliged.
I apologize for the wait. Please, come with me, gentlemen.
So you were successful.
My mistress, Madame Zavas, would like to meet you.
You mean that, Madame Savas?
As far as I know, there's only one of her, so yes.
Please, miss, take us to her.
With pleasure.
Madame Zavas was a legend in Clawville. Her name was known all over the wilderness. She's an avid royalist, former member of the Council of 12, spy master, assassin, businesswoman, and courtesan. To be honest, I didn't even know she was still alive. She's no spring chicken, that's for sure. She could also be my mother, or maybe my grandmother. First Ibn Wessler, now her. Honestly, tonight it wouldn't surprise me if His Majesty Hector III didn't grace me with his presence. Let me introduce myself properly, ma'am.
Mr. Santino, I know who you are. And I also know your partner. The legend of the Chicken Police is always one step ahead of the Chicken Police.
Thank you. That's flattering.
May I ask what you are looking for exactly? Here, on this night?
You know, that's an interesting question. The card we've shown your lovely colleague
Belongs to an old friend of ours, whom we haven't seen for a long time here.
And the name?
Unfortunately, no, Mr. Santino. That's confidential information. In my line of work, discretion is everything.
Well, you know, in our line of work, the law is above everything.
Oh, do you think so? I could tell you what your colleagues think is also above everything. But, as I said, discretion.
Look, ma'am, we don't want to impose. We're conducting a private investigation, which started off as harmless, but now it's murder.
That sounds serious.
It is serious. That's why we'd be grateful for your help.
In that case, I'm at your service. Ask your questions, and I'm going to answer to the best of my knowledge. As long as you're not wading through muddy waters.
Fortunately, I swim very well for a chicken.
I swim well, too. As I was saying, it belongs to us. Only our most valuable guests have one of these. And our employees, of course.
The employees, too. Good to know. Can you tell me if this card belonged to a guest or an employee?
No.
I thought so. Yes, thank you. Tell me, have you ever seen this list?
I have.
Am I right to assume it has something to do with the sweltering Nile?
It does, yes. But I can't tell you more about it. No.
Discretion is key.
Absolutely.
Do you know Natasha Katsenko personally?
Yes, I do.
Tell me about her.
Warm-hearted, protective, quick-tempered, fierce. Yes, fierce.
Thank you. Very useful.
This place isn't just our home with the girls. It's a sanctuary.
Really? How?
It symbolizes why the city was founded almost 1,000 years ago. Unity, love, freedom.
Interbreeding?
That too, yes. Do you have a problem with that?
Oh, don't get me wrong. I don't. My girlfriend's a predator.
Really, I'm glad to hear it.
Deceit is everything to Zavas. She used to be a spy, so I'm going to take her every word with a grain of salt. Who's behind the legend, Miss Zavas? Who are you, really?
Just an animal raised to survive, Mr. Featherland. And because I've been taught, I know how to survive. I always was what I had to be.
And you managed to dodge my question. Clever.
Well, you see, this is one of the typical elements of survival. The way of dodging a delicate question and still making the questioner believe he got the answer. But you're too cunning and experienced, aren't you? You're not an easy one to fool.
I'm trying to maintain appearances, ma'am.
You should. Appearances, most of the time, are stronger and more dangerous than the truth.
Isn't it dangerous being a royalist nowadays?
You know, Mr. Featherland, those that are genuinely dedicated never care about danger. That's something you must know even better than I.
Do you think it's my loyalty that motivates me the most? If you do, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Maybe you're not loyal to the police, Mr. Featherland, but you are to your own principles and ideals. Am I right?
That's true, but you're avoiding the question. Why did you stay in the king's employment after the scandals that are making half the city riot? What makes you still believe so much in the institution of monarchy?
You know, I always adapt, but only to a degree where I still don't have to give up myself and my ideals for the sake of survival.
You'd rather die then?
Maybe it would seem too dramatic or even romantic to you, but yes, exactly.
I'm sorry to doubt you, but I've always thought your kind was rather compromised.
Do you mean spies or crocodiles?
Spies, of course.
I must disappoint you, but there aren't many groups as loyal and unwavering as the spies, Mr. Featherland.
If you're telling me, ma'am, I believe you. What is the Sweltering Nile? Is it really just a luxury brothel?
First of all, it's what it looks like. Luxurious relaxation with luxurious ladies and gentlemen. For wealthy ladies and gentlemen with luxurious needs.
And under the surface?
If you're insinuating that my girls are kind of spies, you're on the wrong track. On a very wrong track, to be precise.
Don't they have confidential information on almost all the wealthy bachelors of Clawville?
Bachelors? Don't be naive. Almost exclusively married men visit here.
Well, then my question is even more valid.
Of course, they know much. Many visit here who don't care about sex, Mr. Featherland. Some come here to talk. And meanwhile, they inadvertently say a lot about themselves.
Which makes them easy targets for blackmail, right?
It could, yes. But even the assumption is offensive.
If I guess who the card belongs to, will you tell me?
I wouldn't say that's an acceptable price for such a secret as this, but if you guess right, I won't lie to you. Then, I will tell you you were right. Yes.
Good. Let's see. The answer to my question. Natasha Katsenko.
Well, Mr. Featherland, it seems the gossip about you is right. What gave it away?
It couldn't have been easier. There's a beautiful woman with a mysterious past, trying to keep it a secret, while someone's threatening her with the exact same thing, leaving rather unmistakable messages behind. Plus, we found the card on Deborah, who was her best friend and confidant, so she was either trying to hide it or destroy it forever, so no one could find out the truth. Am I right so far?
Indeed, Mr. Featherland.
So if I'm not mistaken, Natasha used to work for you before she met Ibn Wessler. He fell in love with her, gave her a job at the Millions Club. The rest is history.
You have talent, Mr. Featherland. I'm really sorry you're not working for the government.
I am working for the government. I'm a cop.
Are you sure, Mr. Featherland?
Touché.
Indeed. Natasha used to work here. We can put it that way, but you know, this isn't just a workplace. She also lived here. She was part of our family, and we still love her very much.
Right. That puts everything in a different light. Savas is a true survivor, always was, and she's proud of that even to this day. Maybe I can get her to trust me if I play to this part of her. You tried to protect her. From what?
Natasha came to me penniless, cold to the bone, and wounded. She was only 17 years old. Even if she were my enemy, I would have taken her in until she recovered. Yes, I'm like that. I was raised to be like that.
Haven't you seen any opportunities for profit? Or were you guided by pure animal goodness?
Is that so hard for you to believe?
I think that worldly women like you try to turn every position to their advantage. I hope I don't offend you.
On the contrary. But no. I didn't see any opportunities in a girl who could barely speak our language, who was starving and wounded and obviously running from something. In fact, I was taking unnecessary risks because of her.
You knew you were taking a risk, yet you still took her in. Why?
I don't know, Mr. Featherland. These things can't always be rationally explained. Not even when I've lived my whole life based on reason, on logic, almost every step calculated.
So Natasha came and turned your whole life upside down. She's like that, isn't she?
It's in her nature, yes. Poor thing can't help it. She's like a tornado. She usually takes everything with her.
That's quite an apt metaphor. But I have to agree.
Did she sweep you away, too?
I don't know yet, madam. I'm clinging firmly to the ground. Do you know where Natasha came from before Clawville?
Naturally. The poor dear couldn't even deny it. Even her name's eloquent, her accent, but mostly her manners, Mr. Featherland. She's from Stovos, and she belonged to the upper class of Stovonian social circles. She could barely even speak the language when I first met her.
That's all you know about her. An ex-spy like you must have checked up on her new protege's past.
That's the most exciting thing. Yes, I have. Multiple times putting my most treasured connections to good use. But nobody found anything. Natasha's trail could only be traced back to the Stovonian border. What happened in that country, no one knows.
It's rather curious, don't you think?
It is, Mr. Featherland. Yes, curious. That's why I've always been rather fond of Natasha.
Did it touch you deeply when she left you?
Indeed, it did.
Zavos is protective. It seems she's dedicating her whole life to her proteges. If I concentrate on that, maybe she'll open up to me. Why did you let her leave with Wessler?
What else could I have done? Wessler is a handsome, rich, powerful animal, and Natasha fell in love with him. If anything, I know you can't stand in the way of a woman in love. There's nothing more dangerous, Mr. Featherland.
I've been in this job for more than 20 years, but I haven't heard that one before.
You see? You learn something new every day if you have an open mind. Yes.
Were you angry at her for leaving? Afraid she might blab secrets.
Wouldn't you like to hear that? Yes, it would be a classic. The controlling crocodile obsessed with power can't take losing her favorite protege and seeks revenge.
I'm not saying it happened like that, but it could have.
Now, Mr. Featherland, you're smarter than that. You know very well that's not how it happened.
Maybe I just wanted to hear it from you. Still, I feel like you're not telling me everything.
Of course I'm not, Mr. Featherland.
Well, thank you for your honesty.
Don't mention it.
How did you feel when you learned Natasha was going to leave?
Honestly, I was very hurt. I loved her as a daughter. How would you have felt?
I couldn't say.
And I still couldn't stop her, and you know why?
Of course I do. Because you loved her.
You've been in my shoes before, am I right, Detective? Yes, I can feel you have.
This isn't about me, madam. Please stop changing the subject.
I have felt betrayed on a certain level. Yes, and offended, and alone. Even amongst all my friends.
Were you disappointed in her?
Only in myself, Mr. Featherland. But I have a hunch you know this feeling very well.
Yes, you're right. Well, thank you for your time, madam.
Anytime, Detective. Yes, anytime.